Albanian blood. Not a gang, need my hand like I'm John Alite. On my brain, Benjamin's like I'm John Alite.
Welcome everyone to another episode of Mafia Truths with John Alite. I'm Felix Levine, and to my right, John Alite. And before we get into it today, a quick reminder, if you haven't done so already and you're watching this video, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and subscribe to our Patreon. Trust me, we've got a lot of great things coming on the Patreon. Bonus content, everything goes up there early, and the ability to ask this guy direct personalized Q&As on our monthly Q&A. We're also going to do some live streams up there soon, so get in on it if you haven't done so already. And then today, we were talking about this off air. I didn't know this, but I was fascinated, and so we had to obviously talk about it. You were actually in the jail that Epstein died in. Everyone has their opinions on how that went about. And you were telling me something that made me want to talk about it here. So first, my first question to you is that jail. What is it really like as someone who was an inmate there at one point in time? And then we'll talk about, obviously, whether or not you think Epstein killed himself. But describe the jail, you know, as an inmate, from the inmate's perspective.
Well, you got nicer hotels, and listen, the jail's called the MCC, for the people who don't know, Manhattan Correctional. I spent a little over 4 years there, which is a long time to say, because, you know, there's no movement.
In solitary?
So, some of the time in solitary, some of the time in a regular unit like anybody else, where you get up on the roof in a cage upstairs. It's like I guess a half or full court. It's not full court basketball size, and it's caged up top. And anybody that stays there goes up to the roof, like once a week. You're supposed to go up or whatever. But so I was there about 4 years. The thing about these jails, they're highly secure. Years ago, somebody tried to escape out of there, and I mean, unless you're Spider-Man, I don't think you're getting out. They were trying to get out that way, actually, or down the wall somehow. But in my belief, something is amiss in MCC to say that an inmate killed himself. Now, I've been in high security units, 9th floor, 10th floor. You see a lot of terrorists up there, and, you know, guys that, you know, are disciplined, they're locked up. But we have cameras in our cells, a lot of us. So when I shower, the camera's in your cell. So they turn on some of these units, they turn the shower on, they don't move us. And they'll tell you at 4 in the morning, get up, shower. You know, they sit through a loudspeaker. Sometimes you're in other cells in lockdown, and they move you 2 or 3 times. You're always handcuffed from the back. You move down into the guards move us down the tier into a shower. Same thing. They secure us first in the shower before they uncuff you. Depending on who you are, sometimes you're shackled feet and arms behind your back, and they move you with more than one officer, so there's no security breaches. And they go through these systems of security breaches to make sure no one breaches the security and make sure they're not accused of anything themselves. And down the tiers, there's cameras. So it's not what people think, that there's no cameras, and there's cameras everywhere now, just like the street. The idea of having these cameras is not so much for guys like me, the inmate. It's for the safety of the guards. I'm not just talking about their physical safety. I'm talking about so a guy, will use me as an example, as an inmate, can't say he just beat me up, or he just tried to do this to me, or he spit in my food, or, you know, he didn't give me my food, or I didn't get my medical attention I was supposed to get, although the medical system screwed up. And they come see us like, you know, you got to put in slips and this and that. On Fridays, usually, they do their rounds, and they come by each cell and ask, are you okay? And they see you physically, and that covers them, their liability, although they didn't do anything for you. And they tell, well, we'll see you next week, or whatever they say, you know. So if you're sick, you better forget about it in jail. And if you need something done with your eyes or teeth, you better forget about that too. So that part, we all understand. But you have high security inmates in there, depending on who they are and where they come from. So when they flew to get me, for example, in Brazil, when I was in those penitentiaries fighting, I was fighting from coming back here. They extradited me back. They came to get me in a Gulfstream 5. It's a private, you know, I think it cost them $250,000, something like that, just a gas to come get me. So, you know, when they're taking you to that level, you're a high security inmate. So, you know, I'm not going to be wandering around the jail without really being intensely watched. any phone calls I make, well, I didn't ever have emails, but now they have emails, so everything's copied. Any mail that comes in is looked at, secured, copied, check the envelopes, they check books to make sure nothing's inside. It's got to come from the publishing house now. These are all security measures for the inmates and also more so for the officers. And these cameras are so nothing can happen to those guards or be accused of something happening to them. So I never believed that Epstein killed himself, because he's probably the #1 high priority inmate, not just in MCC, probably in the country at the time, right? Because he's involved with, the accusation that President Clinton was on his island. It's all over the news 25, 26 times. Do you think they're going to leave this guy by himself? Now, when a camera goes down in his unit, in his cell or down the hall from his cell, not only the officer on the floor knows it's down, the desk on the floor knows it's down. Security in the control room knows it's down. There's also backup sensors that knows it's down. There's no way that camera's down and they didn't know about it. So I'm not buying the fact that they said these cameras were down. Now, you're talking about things that are way above our comprehension. And I'm not accusing the guards, but I don't know what happened here. And I think it's way above their pay grade. So if it's NSA, CIA, whoever, they are not leaving that man unattended in that cell with no camera. I just can't buy that. And I know the way we're treated. When I got moved back from Brazil, they brought me to Falkenberg. Falkenberg it's not equipped like MCC, but I was brought into a unit where I'm in a glass cell with 6 or 7 guys. So when we shower, everybody's watching us. When they shower us, it's when they feel like putting it on. When you shit, they're watching you. There's cameras inside. So, and we are nowhere near the highest priority in this country like that man was. Right. So how can that possibly be a fact? I just don't buy it.
I have a question for you. If you were an inmate, and I imagine...
I wasn't an inmate. Unfortunately.
But I'm saying, if you're an inmate, and I don't believe that Epstein probably was able to talk to anybody, but if you're an inmate with Jeffrey Epstein, what would you have said to him?
I don't think I'd say anything to him because he's a pedophile. He's a pervert. He's a rich bastard that abused kids. And I don't think you would have a word with him. You know, not that I don't think, I know we wouldn't talk to him. Right. There's nothing to say to that guy. And you get a high priority inmate that comes in off like Madoff, right? They beat him up. They're trying to extort him. That's normal inmate stuff. And Carmine Persico, the boss of the Colombo family, took him in and protected him after that, and then it stopped for him. But you're going to talk to a guy like that because he's educated. Whether what he did, it doesn't matter. You know, he's a criminal. Everybody else in there is a criminal. But a guy like Epstein, nobody wants to talk to because of what he's involved with. He's just not going to have any friends, whether unless there's something wrong with them too.
And that goes for most of the jails you've been in, right? Like basically every crime is, I don't want to say the word is accepted, but you can like converse with the guy over doing something else. But when it comes to women and children, that was always like for criminals on communicating with criminals, you don't talk to the pedophiles, right? Those are
no, the pedophiles, forget it. They're done. And if they're in serious jails, you got guys like the ABs that kill them, the pedophiles. I mean, you got guys that, rape women, they got problems. You got guys that beat up a woman, it's not really a problem, to be honest with you. Guys, it's just accepted. People fight with the husband, wife, girlfriend, boyfriend. It's just part of the streets and whatever goes on, dysfunctional relationships. But the raping of kids, the raping of women, yeah, it's an issue. That stuff is a big issue. Everything else, for the most part, people don't take it as a personal affront in prison, no.
And that MCC jail, I mean, where does it rank in terms of the worst jails you've been in?
Nah, MCC is just a holding facility while guys are fighting cases and trials and going to get
You were there
shipped.
for 4 years.
I was there 4 years because of my situation with, obviously I'm involved in serious stuff with crime families and murders and, RICO cases. And well, you know, here we go again, because you asked that question. Well, Gotti is an informant and his guys, and, you know, and the situation in my case is a lot different than most, because of my so-called superiors were all cooperating. You know, if you go, again, and when I say Gotti, by the way, and all these things, I'm talking about Gotti Jr. When I just say John Gotti, I'm talking about the father, who was my boss, who I respected. And, you know, people know on the other thing, I don't respect him. To me, he's a trust fund kid, and that's it. You know, but, you know, when these guys were cooperating, his right-hand man, Scars, the captain, they're all cooperating, his team of guys against me. And there's 302s, by the way, people out there. 302 is a document, a statement by a street guy when he's going to testify or give information that he will testify to. And then I come in. Then is me protecting myself against what these guys are doing to me. And it delays the process. So the average guy doesn't stay there like me, right, 4 years. They probably stay there a year, 6 months, 8 months till the case is finished, and then they get shipped wherever they're going.
Beautiful. Well, very insightful to know what it's like, I guess, really inside that famous MCC jail. So thank you guys. Thank you, John. And quick shout out, because it's a spiffy jacket you got on. I got it from Michael Jackson before he died. I know how to do the moonwalk, everybody. And it's black and red, the Albanian colors. And thank you, Jihad. This is funkwear. I would pay to see you do the moonwalk. Oh, yeah. Put up the money and shut up when we're off camera. We are happy to announce that we have just launched our new custom bats line signed by John Alite. If you want to get a custom bat signed by John Alite, go to mafiatruthswithjohnalite.com today to get your custom signed bat by John. I promise I won't hit you with it. You too, Felix. I'm going to give you a custom signed bat. You guys contact us, and I'll sign the bat, and I promise I'm not hitting anybody with them anymore. Beautiful. Go get yours today. Hey, everybody. I have a new sponsor, Dina Luzzi, with the new energy drink. Actually, everybody knows I'm full of energy. I'm always moving around. People want to know how. Take a blast. Dino's new stuff. Felix, take it. Need a blast? Get a blast. These great tasting drinks are Italian made. Go check the link in our bio today to get a case of Dino Luzzi right now. I'm telling everybody, listen, trust me on this. This is some drink, and I drink everything. So alcohol, but this is better. Get the Dino Luzzi stuff. Energy drink, take your blast, and come see me. Quick reminder to subscribe to our YouTube channel and subscribe to our Patreon if you haven't done so already. True John Alite and johnalite.com website, and then my new book, 6 Weeks, coming soon. Beautiful. Thank you, everyone. You've been watching Mafia Truths with John Alite. I'm Albanian blood.
Now the gang need my hand like I'm John Alite. On my brain, Benjamins like I'm John Alite.